Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim that the captives will be released and the prisoners will be freed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God.
All right, folks, back by popular demand. I got Bo Polny on again. I have a hard time saying it. I have a hard time saying everybody's name, to be honest with you, Bo. But Bo Polny, back by popular demand, folks. This is going to be a good one. This one is going to be the 24 hours that changed the world. 24 hours that changed the world. So before I start with that, Bo, I got to read off a script here, and it's Keto with Nino, baby. All right. Weight management is a universal struggle after we turn 20. The struggle becomes much harder. This is because our body's metabolism slows by as much as 4% each decade, folks. This is why I highly recommend this amazing keto diet powder. It works to increase the level of ketones in your body without you ever needing to be on a ketone diet. So you receive all the benefits of keto, including faster metabolism and weight loss without the strict diet of keto. The best thing about this is that it comes with free shipping. Free VIP, live health and fitness coaching for life, and a free e-report titled The Top 14 Ketogenic Foods. If you want to help support your weight loss, you'll love this product. Get up to 51%, folks, off. 51% off for the next 24 hours by going to the link below, folks. Hit the link below. What do you think, Bo?
I love it, man. You make me laugh. Your energy is just rock starish. It's like, it's incredible, you know. And I love when you do the. Come on, do it again. Come on, you guys to start this podcast off. Come on, start it off right. Do it right. Start it off.
Coming at you live, Apocalypse, folks. Oh yeah.
Come on, that makes my day.
Yeah,
that is the best.
That's how I start every morning. Well, I used to start it with when I would get up in the morning to go box. I'd step out of my car, whatever, and just yell, and then boom, I'd be set.
Right, that's what athletes do. That's what athletes do. You get fired up for the day.
You have to wake all your senses up. But what it does is it delivers a huge boom punch to your system. It shocks your system. And then I swear, like every morning I would get up and be tired to go run. But the minute I just go, you know, then boom, I'm ready to go take on 6 miles.
That's right.
That's how it works.
That's right. When you wake up every morning, you have a choice, you know.
Yeah.
You're going to be happy, going to be sad. You know, you're going to rock today. You're not going to rock today. You know, we make our future. We make our life. We set our destiny, right? We have free will to do whatever we want.
I've been doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about free will. It's all about it.
24 hours that will change the world forever. How do you even want to kick this off? I mean, we were talking earlier about the calendar, the correct calendar year. And the 24th of September is the last day of the 50th year, this coming 24th of September.
Yeah.
So I would imagine a lot of things are going to be transpiring and happening before then.
Right, exactly. You know, this is going to be a very interesting summer. Okay, so we just started July. We're July 2nd today. So we're in July, and the summer solstice is complete. Last time we spoke, okay, this is actually, go back to the interviews and listen. We're basically saying that something big's supposed to happen on or about the summer solstice, because that's a very pivotal time point for the world where it's the most amount of light starts to transition into the days getting darker, right? So that's a very powerful time, and God's a God of time and seasons, right? And so that transitioned us from spring into summer. So now we just started summer. And what happened 3 days after the summer solstice, right? And why would it be 3 days? Interesting. But summer solstice was June 21. Then you do 3 days, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? So again, God's just showing himself. So it's a Trinity. And then what happened 3 days later on the 24th? Roe v. Wade is overturned. Precisely on the 24th.
And you called that.
I knew something big was going to happen on the 21st ish, right? And so right at that time point, you go back in the last interview.
All because you study this calendar.
All because I study biblical prophecy and timelines and all of these things. And then all of this actually, the Roe v. Wade thing really goes back to what I realized of the year 2000 when I was running the Daniel cycle, and then I overlaid that with the Noah's Ark cycle of time, right? And so it prophesied that the calculated time point was September 18th, I think it was, of 2020, that something huge was supposed to happen. And the world's like, and then the 18th hits and nothing happens, right? Until 8 at night. Ginsburg dies, right? And it's like, what the heck, right? And it happened precisely on September 18th. Ruth Ginsburg died. And so then I did an interview right after that. September 18th?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday. Okay. And so right after that, right after the time point, right, I said it was because it lined up on a biblical cycle timeline. So with Ginsburg death, this is going to be a prophetic thing, a biblical thing. And so, I basically stated the person that's going to come in is going to fill the shoes of Ginsburg. They'll end up being Amy, and then next thing you know, and I said because of this event, it happened specifically on, and then that ended up being Rosh Hashanah. So because of that event, you're going to see the overturning of Roe v. Wade very, very soon, and then that takes us into the year 2022, and boom, Roe v. Wade is overturned. And like we talked about last time too. As powerful as all these things going on in the world, as crazy all these things going on in the world, the reason we're here, the reason we are here, David, is because of Roe v. Wade. Okay, so Roe v. Wade was the pivotal time point in 1971. People say it was in 73. No, it was December 13th of 1971 when Roe v. Wade was first argued in the Supreme Court. It was then and then basically it was ruled on 13 months later in January of 1973, but it all started in 71. And so that year 71 is like this historically powerful year for the world, because that's when Roe v. Wade started. But check out all the things. There's 3 crazy things that went down that year. And in August of 71, also Nixon took us off the gold standard. So therefore, the money became satanic because it had no correlation to God's money, gold and silver, because Haggai 2:8 states the silver and the gold are mine, say it the Lord. And so if you detach a money system it was whatever percentage it was still correlated, when you detach it, it becomes what's called a fiat money, which is basically backed by no gold, no silver, and the people that create the fiat money can create as much of it as they want. Well, guess what they did? Okay, they created as much as they want. And if I think I'm wrong, we'll go check the money supply, right? It took 100 years to make the first trillion. Well, in the past 18 months, I think they've created 18 to 20 trillion dollars in the past 18 months. Okay, and it took 100 years to make the first trillion. Okay, so they're creating. So for people to think, hey, I've got my 401 401k, or all these IRAs and the investments they've had. Oh, I'm wealthy. I have all these zeros behind my name, right? That's all fantastic. Unfortunately, you own money that's in a fraudulent money system. Okay, and when the truth hits the fan, you're gonna this year, okay, these people who think they're very wealthy or have immense amounts of wealth are going to lose probably everything. Okay, this is going to be a tipping of the tables, and again, this relates to 1971. So the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned this year, okay, this is the year of Jubilee. And Leviticus states, thou shalt consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all of its inhabitants. Okay, so we are 50 years. This is it. And like we said, 50 years started. And I don't care about man's clock, our January 1. Okay, that's man's timeline, man's clock. God could care less about it.
They don't want you knowing the true timeline anyway.
Correct. But the true timeline is basically God's timeline. And so the Jews still hold that, and so they basically used, so they calculate God's time. It's not the Jewish calendar, it's God's calendar that the Jews hold, that basically the Jews follow, but it's God's calendar given to the Jews by God. Okay. Right. And so Rosh Hashanah would start day 1. That was September 6th. 2021 last year. Now we also talk about birth of a new era, right? So Jim Caviezel, for example, who played Jesus, right? So think about, when Jesus was born, right? He was, the whole thing, it's about birth. And when he was born, the calendars changed from BC to AD. You understand how powerful that is? They actually changed the clocks of the world. Like, when they mean they changed time. They were no longer counting BC, they were counting Anno Domini in the year of our Lord, right? So the world changed. So we're stepping into this birth, another birth, as crazy and as big as what just happened with the birth of Jesus.
Seriously.
Yes, this is the birth of a new era. So when I say the 24 hours, it changes the world forever. There's a 24-hour window
Would
that's
that
going
be
to.
the birth of the Antichrist coming, or
No. He's
nothing like
already on
that?
the. I
Okay.
think he's already here. So,
Okay.
so we'll talk, that's a whole other topic. But
Okay. Okay.
we're going to see the birth of a God's era. Okay, God's kingdom. So we're going to see the birth of a kingdom, God's kingdom, because who's king? Jesus Christ. We are. So he's our king. God. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? And the Son is the king. He came on earth, so we are under the king. So it's a kingdom economy that's coming. Okay, it's a God's kingdom. And in a kingdom economy, David, there's more than enough for everybody. So that's why, Satan has created a world of almost barely, we talked about this, barely enough, just over JOB, just over broke.
Scarcity.
Yes, scarcity, right? So that's what evil operates, because he wants you to keep chasing the dollar, keep chasing money, so you never have time to worship or pray or anything to God. It's all about just chasing. You can't worship two things, so you basically worship money all the time. So this
We're gonna
50-year
see the
Jubilee
systems-
cycle.
We'll see the systems break.
Yes, the system's going to break. This whole system that we know today is going to break. That's why, you have some really incredible contacts, right? And talk about all these things that are going to happen. Here's the thing: all these things are going to happen. They're not going to happen until this 24-hour window occurs. Okay, until the 24-hour occurs, there is going to be no ability for them to act, because they're still in control. Okay, it's like in Revelation, it's the harlot, right? So the harlot is controlling all hills, right? So they control everything. You say that, your words were everything's captured. That's exactly it. Everything's captured, right? And so we're at this pivotal time point, again, back to the Leviticus 50-year Jubilee cycle. So we're at 50 years. And there's three historically powerful things that happened in 71. The first thing was Roe v. Wade. The other thing was the dollar and Nixon in August. Okay, we talked about that. And the third thing was Klaus Schwab founded the World Economic Forum in December of 71. Okay, so all three of those things are, and so who's running? So everything that you're pissed about right now, all the articles you read, right? All these people, guess what they work for? Klaus Schwab.
Well, Schwab, yeah.
Okay, who basically answers to Satan, and the Yuval Harari guy, their prophet, right? So
who's
all
bringing
these,
in Homo Deus.
yeah, so all these people, they're all connected, but basically the top of the food chain is Satan. Okay, so this is how, and so they're all basically, so that's why none of these people ever go down no matter what they do, because they all have the secret handshake, they all work together, and it's all basically, we battle not against flesh and blood, but principalities of darkness. Well, principalities are governments, okay? And so that's what, the statue of Goliath, right? That statue of Daniel, the 2,500 year prophecy, it describes all the kingdoms. It's not a place, it's all over the earth. It's all the kingdoms of the earth.
It kind of reminds me.
Everything.
It kind of reminds me of Pence when he sold out the country. He did it you saw him get handed a coin.
Yeah.
So he received a coin to do that. So
right, but I'll tell you one thing too. Okay, so I am on the fence on the Pence thing, because I don't know. There's a prophetic word that he played. He played the greatest hand ever in history. Pence. So we may find out on the back end he played the greatest card ever.
Maybe. I mean, I'm open.
So
I don't see it, but
right, exactly. But we don't
only
see
because
right
he
now.
took that. Well, maybe.
Yes. No, because he could have taken. Remember, all of it was. All of this could have been because he played the greatest hand in history. So that is a potential disability.
And all of this needs to happen. What's happening right now? It couldn't have been done any other way.
Right. Exactly. Because basically, like you even said, you can't arrest pre-crime, right? I think you said that yesterday.
Let's be real careful where you're treading here, because I want to just on YouTube.
Right, and so that's what we want to say about that. But the point is, all these things have to happen, right? And so the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned, okay, so there's three huge things that triggered in 71, right? Roe v. Wade, we had Klaus Schwab with the World Economic Forum, and the dollar, okay? So basically, the first is down, but the first one is the most powerful, because basically we talked about this as well too. God being the creator of all things, he created everything, everything he created because he loves us, right? And then what his creation that he loves turned against him and started killing his creation by enacting Roe v. Wade. Okay, so because of Roe v. Wade, God actually turned his back on us for 50 years.
And now that we've overturned it, he's back.
Yeah, bingo. Okay, so now and there's a prophetic word by Kim Clement, right? My fury has ended. Okay, so he was furious with it. His fury has ended. And now that his fury has ended, we're going to see The first part of that Kim Clement prophecy was the two E's, earthquakes and eruptions. Okay, so when God intervenes, you're going to have earthquakes and eruptions. So we're going to start seeing earthquakes, eruptions pop off, start here in July into August, all around the world. It's going to start to happen, and that's the intervening of God, because God's starting to now act. However, there is going to be.
So it's going to be a good thing, these earthquakes, and
well, because basically, yes, the world has to change, right? So, well, the thing about this, right? So when I talk about a kingdom economy, the kingdom, the God, thy kingdom, read the Matthew, right? Lord's Prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. That's literally what's going to happen, David. Thy kingdom, God's kingdom is coming to earth. Jesus Christ is returning. He's coming back to earth here in the future, and he's going to be king on earth, and we're going to be his disciples. We'll be under him. Okay, so we're going to be walking here on earth with Jesus Christ. He's coming back.
but they're trying to beat him to the punch because they're going to bring in.
Sure, they are.
deception.
But God knew all. God wrote the end from the beginning, so he knows everything they're doing. He's got it all planned out. So that's why the people need to understand. Fear not, because God the Father is in not control. He's in complete control. Okay, God's in complete control because he knows what they're going to do before they even do it. Okay, so he's got it all planned out. That's why he's set up. We've talked about the master chess player, right? He's the best thing about chess is you let the player make it look like he makes him feel like he's about to checkmate you, right? And meanwhile you're setting him up.
Yeah.
Okay, so God's
it's true as boxing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're doing with boxing. You're the perfect example. That's why God uses you, right? You've hit a very milestone today. You told me you hit 240,000 views. Okay, this is no coincidence, because guess what day Roe v. Wade was overturned? On the 24th. Okay,
wow.
God's a God of patterns, and you're going to see also the last day of the 50th year just happens to also be the 24th. Of September. Okay, so 6/24 and 9/24. Okay, so the last day of the 50 years is September 24th. Now, so we've talked about, the three things that are going to go down, right? So we saw Roe v. Wade go down. We're going to see the dollar issue become a problem, the dollar go down, and then everything Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and putting together, they're going to go down. So all the minions that work for them. So this is like an overturning of the tables. And the question is, when does it all go down? Well, there's going to be a 24-hour window where the world literally, if everything they're doing is on one set of railroad tracks and they're heading in a certain direction because they want to depopulate the world and whatever their sick agendas are, right? God's literally in a 24-hour window going to change the railroad tracks, and just literally we're going to go in a different direction, and you can never go back. It's like the Red Sea. Okay, the Red Sea is a perfect example of the 24 hours that change the world, right? So what happened is, and the Pharaoh's coming at Israel to kill Israel. They're pinned up against the Red Sea. Mountains to the left and the right or east and west of them, right? Pharaoh's coming at them, and they got the Red Sea behind them, and they're basically, for all matters, they're screwed.Ey're dead. Okay, they're finished. Okay, and then what happened within 24 hours? Within 24 hours, the sea parts. Israel crosses. The sea closes on Pharaoh's head and his army. They're all dead, and Israel's on the other side of the Red Sea, free. It's over.
Yeah.
Okay, it's over. And he turned the impossible into possible. Okay, so we're going to see in a moment in time that everything looks impossible. The United States is finished. We're done, and then the miracle comes.
That's what I've heard.
But the miracle is going to be of God, and the miracle that happens is going to be like when the Red Sea parted, and it parted and it closed. Everybody from that point forward knew that there was a God, and no one wanted to go against Israel because they knew that God was with them. And if God is with you, who could be against you? Okay, so that's the essence of how important these things are. And so God was not with us for 50 years, David. Why?
That's why everything was just going down the drain so fast.
Right, and
now that this Roe versus Wade has been overturned, you're saying God's grace is back.
He's with us, and if He's with us, who could be against us? And
100%.
so now that God is with us, right? The Titanic is now turning, and so the summer we're going to see the turn. And so the second part of the prophecy of Kim Clement was they fall and fall. Okay, so fall begins on September 21. However, God's new year doesn't end until September 24th, Elul 29. So as summer ends, 3 days later, we step into the 24th. Now, I want to read this to you because you're going to really appreciate this, you and your viewers. I'm going to share my screen here with you, and check this out because this is really quite powerful. Let me share here.
Oh, did I need to give you a.
No, I got it. I think I can share. Let me share here.
Oh,
Can you see it there?
you go right.
Got it?
Yep.
You see? Okay. So this is Haggai 1. Now, David, tell me that this is beyond crazy. So check this out. Then Haggai, the messenger of the Lord, spoke to the people with the Lord's message. I am with you, declares the Lord. I am with you. Do you love it? Okay, we just talked about that. I am with you. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of the remnant of his people, and they came and worked. Okay, what did the Supreme Court do? They worked. The Supreme Court worked. Okay,
Right.
they worked, so they overturned Roe v. Wade. So and they came and worked on the house of the Lord of hosts, their God, on the 24th day of the month in the 6th month in the 2nd year of Darius the king. David, 24th day of the 6th month is June 24th. The 2nd year of the decade is 2022.
Wow. Wow.
David,
Cool.
David, the Roe v. Wade prophecy overturning was written by Haggai several thousand years ago.
Holy cow.
David, this is great.
You found this? You figured this out?
Well, actually, I got to give credit to Lois Vogel Sharp. God told her where to look. She's a prophet.
Wow. That's
But this gets better. David, this gets better.
all right.
We want better? Okay, so God says, when you read about blessings are 30, 60, or 100 fold. That's Matthew, okay? So if you take the price of silver, for example, right? So we know that this is the year of the Lord's favor, Leviticus, right? The year of the Lord's favor, which means that's a release from bondage, okay? Well, what are mortgages? They're death grips, okay? They're bonds. They're bonds, okay?
Right.
Bonds are bondage. They're death grips, okay? And so when you get a release from bondage, the mortgage, the bonds break. All this is like the financial system breaking, okay? Well, we said Roe v. Wade is now overturned. So what's the next thing's going to happen, David? The financial system is going to overturn. So
Right.
the dollar is going to break. The dollar is going to collapse, which causes the break in the bonds, which then fulfills Leviticus, the breaking of the bonds, release from bondage. And then when you get released from bondage, you also eventually get blessings. So we're going to talk about blessings because in Haggai 2 talks about blessings. And then so Haggai 2 talks about blessings. Blessings are 30, 60, and 100 fold, and that's written by Matthew. So just an example, right? If you take silver, for example, it's at $20 right now. So the minimum blessing would be 30. So what's 20 times 30? So we're going to have silver at $600 this year.
600, yeah.
It's $20 right now. So silver is going to go to 600 this year just based on Matthew.
Wow.
Of 30, and then ultimately you 100 fold would put silver over the into the 2000 range in the not too distant future. Okay, but now let's talk about blessings because this is awesome. As great as Haggai 1 was, listen, let's read Haggai 2. And I will shake all nations, so that the treasures of all nations shall come in, and I will fill the house with glory, says the Lord of hosts. The silver and the gold are mine, declares the Lord of hosts. The latter glory of the house shall be greater than the former. And in this place I will give you peace. Blessings, this is blessings for defiled people. So this is written in Haggai 2:18. So a defiled people are a people that went against God. What did we do, David? We went against God. But God, because we have a covenant with him, see, the founding fathers have a covenant with the United States. Basically, they founded the United States under God, okay? All people are created equal. So because the founding fathers created covenant with God, even though the founding fathers are dead today, the covenant stands because time doesn't matter with God. There is a covenant with God. So God's going to restore the covenant that was set up with him. So, you know the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? They were thrown into the fire by Nebuchadnezzar because they refused to bow to the statue. Now, they were supposed to die, but what happened when they were thrown in the fire? Jesus Christ showed up. There was 4. So Jesus Christ did not show up before the fire. He showed up in the fire.
Okay.
The point being is that, so if God's going to do things, most likely he'll probably take it out to the very, very end here of when everything absolutely, is finished, and when God is done with his work, right? And so the 50th year, and this is important to read now. So on the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, the word of the Lord came by Haggai the prophet. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider from this day onward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, the vine and the fig tree and the pomegranate and the olive tree have yielded nothing, but from this day forward I will bless you.
That's incredible. That is, I mean, and all because of this Roe versus Wade.
Yes.
You believe that,
Yeah.
I have to say it like that. You believe that God's grace is shining back on America.
God is with us. Because God is
everything
now
that
with
happens
us.
right now from here forward, because I know a lot of stuff's gonna start transpiring now.
Yeah, so we're gonna say the next will be the death of the dollar. The dollar is gonna collapse. Okay, that's
So what does that mean? Does that mean like everyone's bank accounts get wiped out? I mean, it's just zero.
I don't know what it particularly means, like, because remember, these are events, are biblical events, and no one knows
exactly I don't feel
how
like
this
we could
plays
have
out.
that. The country would just.
Well, right, but this is why you need to have, Mr. T show up to repair what was broken by God. So, and then he's going to rebuild the financial system with a gold-backed monetary system. Okay, so Mr. T comes back to reinstate. He's going to create the gold standard, and so we're going to gold and silver become the constitutional money for the United States,
just like the BRICS nations are doing right now.
Right, but it's going to be the United States is now going to have, it's going to be it's going to be a kingdom economy. So a kingdom economy, God, thy kingdom come. A kingdom economy is an economy backed by gold and silver, okay? Not by a fake monetary system. Just like like a quick on the side note, just like all the statues and the White House and all these things that they built for the harlot, okay, that they can't stand. So they all get eliminated and removed this year. So whatever that means, but I'm just telling you, everything that the Babylon built, the harlot built, gets destroyed because God's kingdom is coming, and so we're going to see a birth of this new kingdom, and in the birth of the new kingdom comes a new financial system. Because first off, it's a sequence of events. You had the harlot base, so we had Roe v. Wade being overturned. Then you got a death of the dollar is going to trigger here July into August time window, and then by September. Right, by September, we get into fall, and then the prophecies, they fall and fall, and that'll be the collapse of the World Economic Forum.
And that's what Kim Clemente said, right?
Yes, yeah, they fall and fall, and then that'll be the fall of the.
And you think it's going to be this fall?
Forum. Yeah, it's all
okay. And then what's going to be 24 hours? It's going to be.
So let's do this. So I wanted to play a video because this is. Those who don't know, there is a prophet.
You want to play it or you want me to play it?
No, if you can play it. There's a prophet by the name of Kim Clement. Actually, let me just show you something here. 1 second. Before you do that, let me share my screen here just for a minute. Okay. Share my screen. Share this. So the viewers that want this PDF presentation, simply take your phone like you go to a restaurant, you put it over that, and you can download this entire 150-page free PDF presentation, and then Nino is going to play page 4 of it over here. He's going to play this prophecy, but there's a bunch of other prophecies and all kinds of stuff in there. So, so Nino, go ahead and play this prophecy, because let you know, Kent Christmas is an incredible prophet, and I'm serious. He's a manly man. He loves God. He's got an incredible story. But when this guy speaks, it's not him. It's the God speaking right through him. So that's why this is so important. This is God speaking.
Is this the one right here?
No, God, this one before that. There's one right before that. It was it will happen in a 24-hour period, and then he will explain to you. You'll get it. It's a 2.5 minute video. It's worth every 2.5 minutes. I've edited it.
All right, do you see it?
Yes, go ahead.
That's the one, right?
Just go ahead. Yep, please.
Know this saith the Lord, what I'm about to release in the earth, no one has ever seen before. Even in the early church, saith God, they have not yet remembered or seen what I'm about to release in the earth. For I'm going to release such a presence of God that your children that are agnostic, that are gay, that are atheists, that don't believe in me, they're going to say, what is this? As they weep in my presence, so shall I cause the demon spirits of hell and have ravished their soul to make them let go, and the young and the children shall be returned unto the kingdom of the Lord. I am God. In a moment's time, I can say it's over and it's over. Do you not know, saith the Lord, that everything that breathes comes out of my sovereign will? You do not know how great I am and how mighty I am. Did I not say every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord? I am not under the authority of man's law. Before there was ever you, there was me, saying, God, this is my hour. This is my day. This is my church, saying, God. And those that shook their finger in my face and said, we don't bow down. Well, know this, saying, God, you will bow down because I am God and I made you and you did not make me. There is a holy shaking, saying the Lord, and be released in the atmosphere. Hold on, saying, God, I am just getting started. And when I get started, there's going to be a release of the sovereign hand of God, such as the world has never seen. So the Lord would say to you, I need you to rest. I need you to stop worrying about how I'm going to do this. For I've not even told my prophets, saith the Lord, what I'm about to do. This will happen in a 24-hour period, saith God. It will blindside the evil and the wicked in the earth. They will not see it coming. There will be no warning. There will be no ability to make contingencies on what I'm going to do. It's just going to happen, and in one moment, saith God, it will be sealed by the power of the Holy Ghost.
There you go.
Wow.
It just, that's powerful. That is God speaking through him. Okay. So those of you who are, in fear or concerned, or, just, you're watching the news and you see what's going on, just know that, what did he say? I don't go by man's calendar. Man, I created you. You did not create me. Do you not know how great I am? It's just the people, this is God. He could care less about what their plans are because he's got his plans and his way is how it's going to play out. Period. And it all happens in his specific times and his specific seasons. And this is it. We're here. We just saw the
We really don't have much longer to go. We don't have much longer. This is it. We're we're racing to the finish line.
Yeah, we're racing. So there's going to be a 24-hour window that he spoke about. And he said, God said, not one prophet knows what I'm going to do. Okay, and the prophetic word that I got specifically was, some things must remain hidden in my heart so that the enemy will be caught unprepared. So the day and the hour of this event, so this 24-hour window, it's going to, Leviticus, I'll read this here because it states, not Leviticus, sorry, Isaiah 61, it says, this is to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. So the year of the Lord's favor in Isaiah 61 is Leviticus. It's a 50-year Jubilee. So we're here. We know that the year of Jubilee ends on September 24th. We know that Roe v. Wade was just overturned on 6/24. 9/24 is only another 90 days, right? So somewhere between 6/24 and 9/24, we're going to have this 24-hour window. And again, so the thing is, there's two things about it. God will not speak the day and the hour this thing's going to go down. So we don't know the 24-hour window. We don't know because it's a secret. Because God's going to, what he's saying, I'm going to catch the enemy unprepared. They won't even know what hit them. Okay. And the second thing is he's not going to tell any prophets of how he's going to do it. And so the enemy again will be caught unprepared. So they don't know what he's going to do and when he's going to do it. So they have no
just like
clue.
when he parted the Red Sea.
Exactly. So there's going to be that 24-hour window is going to be a time window, a day the world will never forget. Like the world never forgets the part of the Red Sea. They don't forget, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown in the fire.
So we're going to be on our knees.
In there.
We're on our knees now, but it's going to be much, much worse to where we're about to accept our death.
Yes, yes, but that also goes down to what happened to Lazarus. Okay, so the story of Lazarus, right? So he was dead in the tomb. He died, right? And Jesus actually took his time to get there intentionally. So because Martha wanted, because Martha knew that if Jesus was there, he could have healed him, right? But instead he died, right? And then Martha's like, if only you were here, right? He wouldn't be dead, right? And then, but God actually took an extra day to get there. So he waited 4 days,
That's
right?
agonizing.
It's
Jeez.
agonizing, right? And when you study prophecy, the Jews knew that after 3 days, the spirit is gone and they're off to heaven. So after 4 days, it's finished, right? So the person is officially dead after the fourth day. So Jesus waited 4 days. And then what he said to Martha, right? So I did this so you would see the glory of God. Basically, he's saying you will know who I am. Because it was impossible to raise to someone come back to life because the spirit's gone after 3 days. Jesus shows up on the fourth day, and he raised Lazarus from the dead, and everybody saw. And then the Pharisees freaked out because they knew only a God could do that. It's not possible for a man to come back to life after 4 days, and he did it on the fourth day. So they freaked. And so the point being is, and so that prophecy, I've kind of got a lot of feedback, like when I sleep sometimes, like that Lazarus prophecy is supposed to be like something that we're about to experience, right? And so we're supposed to go dark, and this also correlates, so I don't know, the baptism, right? The baptism is what's called death to life, right? So we're born from the mother, from the womb, right? We're born from the womb and we're alive in the flesh, but we're not alive in the spirit. And so when you go into be baptized, you go in the water, you go backwards, you die, and then you come up and you're rebirth, right? And so the United States has to die. And so that means like, the White House, everything, right? It has to die, right? It has to die.
To the ground.
It's gonna look horrible. It's gonna be like the Lazarus and he's dead in the tomb. It's like, we're finished, right? And then guess who shows up? Ha! God shows up and says, I am that I am. And when and the world's going to know that God did it, because the event is going to be so crazy how he plays the cards, that the world is going to know that only a God could have done this. Just like Jesus rose Lazarus on the fourth day. It was an impossible feat, but God made the impossible possible. And so when this 24-hour window plays out, it's going to look ugly, scary.
It can't come fast enough, Bo.
Right, but he's doing it. But
this is agonizing.
Yes, it's agonizing, right? But he's doing it at his time. But you'll see at the end of this that the timing was perfect. So as crazy as agonizing it is right now, David, you're going to see when it goes down, the timing was perfect. It was perfect. It wasn't almost perfect. It was perfect. So everything that the plays that God's making right now, he's lining up all the chessboard right now, and Satan thinks he's winning, but God's lining it up, and then he's going to come in with a final move and checkmate him. And so all of this is being strategized by God right now, and that's why he cannot give us a day or the hour of the event, but we know.
But we kind of know.
It's the 50-year jubilee, right? Like so we just like when God states, he says in the Bible, Matthew 3 times, no one knows the day or the hour of the return of my son. He literally means no one knows the day or the hour. He didn't say no one knows the week, no one knows the year. Okay, he didn't say that. He said no one knows the day or the hour, and that was repeated 3 times by Matthew. It was always day and the hour. So therefore, we're at day and hour moment here, okay? We're not at like year, whatever. No, we're in the year of Leviticus, 50 year. We're in 50 year. We know by calculations of God's timeline and his calendar, that year ends on September 24th. Okay, we just read Haggai 2, which confirms that as of the year 51, right? So it was, what did it say? It was like, how great was that? It was beautiful. He goes, the last part of this, but from this day on, I will bless you. Okay, well, from this day on means year 51, because September 25 is year 51, day 1. It's Rosh Hashanah.
So all of this stuff has to happen before September 24th?
Yes.
Not fair to say?
Exactly. And we're also looking at birth, right? So if you look at September, this is like why I do calculated timelines, right? So September 6th of 21 was Rosh Hashanah, day 1, okay? Well, if you look at the woman's cycle, a woman will ovulate on the 14th day, right around, okay? So that would put it to September 21. We're looking for a birth. Well, check this out. If you do 40 weeks, you run the calculator, September 21 of last year, 40 weeks, a mother would typically give birth at 40 weeks. That would be June 21, summer solstice.
Which
How
is
does
the-
that work out? How did that
Yeah.
work out?
And
But
you were right about
exact.
them, and that is when Roe versus Wade was overturned.
Right. And so now we're still waiting. So now basically we're at this era, moment in time, but no one, so the mother should have given birth. Now was a summer solstice. And now we're just waiting for birth. We don't know. So is it going to happen tomorrow, next week, in July here? God's got his perfect time, but I'm telling you, it's just like something's going to blow here. It starts in July. It's going to have to, because the Kim Clement prophecy was very specific.
Isn't July 4th?
Strange July.
Ah, that's right. He did say that. But what about, the CERN portal is opening up as well?
Who cares? Who cares? This is
Doesn't
all
matter.
their agenda, right? This is all their agenda, okay? But God's letting them play chess. Well, he's letting them play checkers, and God's playing chess, right? And so, yeah, they're doing this. They're doing the CERN. They're doing all of it, right? Because if you look at this slide that I had here that I showed you before, I'll share this with you. But basically, this is the essence of the problem, right? In 50 years, this is it, right? So in 50 years, I saw a woman, a harlot, sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads are the 7 hills. The 7 hills are the church, the family, the education, the government, the entertainment, and the media, all controlled by the finances, okay? So the finances, they've allowed to control these 7 hills. So now you have the harlot, which is in essence the queen, okay, sitting on the harlot, controlling the harlot. And so the harlot's at full strength. You call it full captured or full, it's fully compromised, or all the hills are captured right now. So that's what's going on right now. So they're controlling the 7 hills, and it looks horrible, right? And now they're trying to, do the CERN thing, and because why? Because they can. Right. That's why, the Yuval Harari and Klaus Schwab, they're all out there talking what their plans are, agenda is. Why? Because they're in complete point of pride and arrogance, right? But we talked about this last time too. What comes before their fall, right? What comes before is Pride Month, right? Pride Month. So there it is right there. So you got Pride Month. It just ended 2 days ago, right? So Pride comes before the fall.
You really believe this is literal?
Yes. Yeah. Well, first off, they've got 6 colors in the flag, not 7.
That'd be crazy. I mean, I look at pride as like arrogance, but you're saying literally it's Pride Month.
They called it Pride Month, not me. I didn't call it Pride Month. They did,
yeah.
right? It wasn't me calling it Pride Month. They called it June. I'm just saying they called it Pride Month. I'm like, okay, you want to call it Pride Month? I'm gonna look at Scripture. Scripture says Pride comes before the fall. Okay, well, their Pride came right before the fall. We have we talked about last time also as well. You have a coin, right? Heads and tails, right? So tails would be say January through June, and then heads is July through December. So we just started July 2 days ago. We're here. We're in July 2 days. We're in strange July. We're about to see crazy stuff.
So what do you think is going to happen in July? Let's just pick it out of the hat. What do you think could happen in July?
Well,
I know it's not a prediction. I know we're not predicting anything. Well, just what do you think?
I would say July into August, we're going to see the death of the dollar. So the dollar is going to take a haircut, maybe a 30% haircut. That's going to break the financial system. That's going to then lead to a short-lived military conflict. So we're going to have probably Saudi Arabia and something related to, because basically they have the oil contracts with the United States, and so they're going to renege, because basically the BRICS nations are going to come against the United States and take down the U.S. dollar, and so we're going to see a flood of the U.S. dollar back into the United States here July into August, and then that's going to basically break the dollar. The dollar is going to lose its world reserve status this summer, okay? And then we're going to see military conflicts because of that, because anytime you ever go against a dollar, it's a military event. Look what happened to Saddam Hussein, look what happened to Venezuela. So you're going to have all these, to Chavez, so basically you're going to see all these big military conflict go down, and then God's going to intervene to stop it at some point, because that's why the 2 E's, the Kim Clement, earthquakes and eruptions. So and then people are going to start to freak out about the earthquakes and the eruptions, and and massive, it's been a lot of casualties and stuff. So, because of that, and people will start focusing on their family, and people will start to come together. So the family is going to start to come together instead of being, taken apart, as we've been seeing across the world right now. So everything. So it's like it's like when a ship turns, right? Big ships they just can't turn on a dime. Yes, exactly. And so Kim Clement prophesied summer was called "I will be the," and summer says, "I will be the mediator." Okay, so that the fall can do its work. So the mediator will be that turning, right? So into spring they were doing they saw the massive arrogance into spring. Summer's so we're seeing the turn July and August, and now as we head into September, so that fall can do its work in America.
Everything you're saying falls right in line with everyone I'm talking to.
Yeah, but as much as everything falls in line, okay, until that 24-hour window occurs, until the intervention of God, until God intervenes, nothing will change in this world. It must be an event that the world, that the media, that the world will be saying, there must be a God. There must be a God. None of this could have happened without the hand of God. So God is not going to, Jesus Christ is not returning this year. It's what we're seeing is that we're going to see the movement of God to wake up his church here in the United States, because basically, and across the world actually, but first the United States, because it's the death to life moment. And then we come back to life. It's the birth of the new era. So when the lights come back on, so we see the financial collapse. And then when the lights come back on, well, that's the birth of the new era. We're literally going to see crazy changes. And then you see Mr. T return, because he's going to rebuild the financial system that
first would be the military, though. Then
we don't know how to. Yeah, I would say it could be back to back. It could be side by side. We don't really know. But basically, the military will be taking orders from Mr. T. So that's I promise you that's going to how it's all going to play out. So do they come in first? First or something? Probably.
Right.
But very quickly, you can Google fraud vitiates everything. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. The thing vitiates everything, and it's a Supreme Court ruling. That Supreme Court ruling basically states that from when it was discovered, everything gets wiped out. So from January of last year, everything.
Yeah.
So he literally, Mr. T will be able to walk right back in office.
Thank you so much.
So that's basically the essence of how this thing could in reality play out. And again, no one knows the exact details, David, of how this is going to work out precisely. But the essence and the critical thing that we need to understand is there is a God, and the world will very soon realize that there is a God, because of the events that are about to happen are going to be so wild, so profound, that's going to be the only thing you can say, that there is a God. And then even the prophetic thing is even the news stations will be forced to acknowledge that.
You want to say a quick prayer to lead us out?
Sure. Father, all those people that are listening to this broadcast, give them wisdom, give them ability to understand what David and I are speaking about. Have them understand that, that you have such love for us, that you have love and you care for us, and you want the best for us, and you have not forsaken or forgotten us. You're actually in complete control of everything going on in this world. So thank you for having me on here with David and with Nino. He's got an incredibly large following. Thank you for using him, Father, so that everybody can hear what we talk about today, because we know that everything that you have planned on this earth will be and will come to pass. So we thank you, Father, and everything that you do in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
All right, Bo, thank you. Get my day started. All
Absolutely.
Right, so,
yeah,
we'll keep in touch, and I'll bring you on again in a couple weeks.
Thanks, David. Be well. God bless you, and God bless all your viewers. God bless everything that you do, David.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.